morning or afternoon. It is afternoon, isn't it? Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Lunch and Learn Live. Carissa, tell us how your weekend was. I am setting us here to share this in our Facebook group.
Oh, wonderful. My weekend was well. It was mixed with a little stress as we have a loved one in the hospital. Um, but we did find time to ground and rejuvenate. We, did some beach also. And we're just outside and getting the natural sunlight and grounding from the earth. So that's always helpful when you're going through something stressful.
Yeah, I mean, stress is a part of life,
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'm really sorry to hear that. I hope
Thank you.
I hope she gets better really quick, and
Thank you.
that's super important. And 'tis the season too, right? It seems like we've got a lot of people who are dealing with different health issues and things like that happening today.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, we've got quite a few things to talk on the agenda about. So, welcome everyone to Lunch and Learn Live again. Feel free, type into the chat box, give us a shout out, give us a hello. Let us know you're there. Bring your questions in for Lunch and Learn Live. And as you know, we're here every Monday, same time, 12:30 Eastern Standard Time, covering different topics every week relevant to, everybody here at South Bay Wellness and our South Bay Wellness community. So today, we said last week we were going to talk a little bit about this transition from the summer to the fall and navigating through that transition, giving you guys some tips and tricks and things like that to make the transition easy. And then I also want to talk about, we've got some Premier Research Labs has some new supplements that have come out. So we do want to go ahead and highlight some of those because I know you guys are going into your, into your accounts and trying to figure out what to get and haven't seen these new things. So we'll talk a little bit about those as well, right? So Miss Carissa, you guys go back to school next is it next week?
Yeah. Yes, next week, which is coming up so quick.
It is. And we are back to school has already started over here in Texas. So we're in that transition from the summer, to the fall for sure. So let's talk about different things that we can do. I mean, first thing that I think about is we've got this sort of lackadaisical sort of summer kind of schedule that then moves into this intense, fall schedule. And, we have a lot of our clients who are teachers or who work in the school system too, who are then making that shift and that change into that new schedule. So what are some of the things that we can do to make that transition easier?
Yes, it definitely is a struggle of a transition, but it also doesn't have to be, right? Because in the summer, I know for at least myself, I sometimes tend to, I want to be outdoors. I want to be outside doing things, and there's always so much going on socially. So I sometimes will forget the things that keep me grounded, like journaling and meditation.
Yes.
So I try to definitely, I do love the fall and the winter for that because I feel like it's like a hibernation period. So
Yes.
I do enjoy like earlier bedtimes. I do enjoy journaling a little bit more. I do enjoy, meditation for longer periods of times, which I'm going to be trying to do all throughout summer, also next summer. That is a goal of mine. But I do think those are really important for the transition. So I definitely focus on those.
Absolutely. I'm just realizing I think I shared last week's Lunch and Learn Live versus the one that we're on right now. So I've got to find it in here in the scroll. Where is it? I'm this Facebook stuff makes me a little wonky here. I love what you said though. I think getting back. I think getting back and how do I share this now? I think getting back to the basics, like getting back to the schedule, putting in those things, prioritizing those things that are most important to us is really important to being able to make sure that we're actually getting these things in, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that is key. I think it was we did an interview with one of our clients, Mandy, and she did a testimonial with us, and you guys have probably seen because we posted her tip there, and she had a great clip, or maybe we haven't posted it yet. She had a great clip where um, she talks about imagine you have a jar, right? And you try
Mm-hmm.
to fit a bunch of golf balls in, a bunch of tennis balls, a bunch of rocks, and a bunch of sand. Like if you just go ad hoc, fill those in, you're never going to get everything into that jar, right? But if you start with those big things, right? You put those bigger balls in first, and then you fill in with the little pebbles and the sand later, you can get everything into that jar. And our life is no different than that. So we have to decide what is it that's going to be the most important thing for us to actually put into the jar. So what's that going to be and what's that going to look like? And those of you who are watching, give a shout out, say hello. So for you, Carissa, I mean, what are some of the most important things that you want to put in?
Well, like I started out saying, like the journaling and meditation and just making sure I'm grounded. Because what I noticed too, especially in this time of the season, is that my mind can easily take me into, you know, just far out.
Yeah.
So it's actually like I'm never really going, it's like I'm just going through the motions,
Yeah.
right? So there's that constant state of anxiety because I'm always somewhere else instead of being in the moment. And
Mm.
I think that's super important. And that's where meditation comes in for me, which really helps me to teach my body and teach my mind to stay in that moment. And
Yeah.
then the journaling comes in. And sometimes I don't have a long time for journaling. So I like to just, if I don't have a long time, I'll just keep it to a gratitude because, again, that helps me stay present. Otherwise, if I'm always in the future or always in the past, I'm just in a constant flux of anxiety and I never feel like I'm getting anything done. And then that's what makes me feel like you don't have time for meditation. You don't have
Yes.
time to exercise. You don't have
No.
time to journal because I'm always 10 steps ahead of myself.
Exactly. Exactly. So putting those things into our schedule that are the priority, and then working everything else
Yes.
around them is important. And I don't know, but working with all of our clients, we also know that sometimes some of you, and myself included, have this tendency to overbook, overcommit. And I think that's another place where we, before we get into this fall schedule, is just to stop, take some time to reflect. And what are, going back to those priorities, what are those most important things? And where do we need to say no, right? Where do we need to say no? So if our goal is to be present with our children and spend more time at home, then maybe we don't need to be, PTA president where we're out organizing all these different things away from our family. So it's really about what are those most important things, and where does it fit? Those of you who are watching, give us a shout out, say hello, and share with us what do you do to prioritize your schedule for the fall. So today's Lunch and Learn Live, we are talking about our transition from summer to fall, tips and tricks for that. We're also going to talk about some of the new products that Premier Research Labs has come out. So when those of you go into your portal and place your orders, you can see some of the new cool stuff that's in there. But go ahead and type into the chat box, give us a shout out, say hello so we know that you're out there. So Chris, I think the other thing too, so let's talk about, so we talked about priorities and that being a major component for de-stressing. Meditation, as we both know, it's something that we heavily promote in our practice. It's a key vital point of bringing some control to that monkey brain and creating some peace and resilience in our life. But let's talk about the other piece too. Like there's back to school, and so what about the scheduling and planning for food and snacks and all of that? I think that's something that's important to address because I was listening to an interview with someone yesterday, and I think I'm gonna see if I can take some highlights of the interview because she was saying the same things that you and we talk about with our clients all the time. But it's really important to note that most of our children's diet, and I think, so she had some statistics that she brought up, and I think it was 70% or more of our kids' diets are processed and ultra processed foods, right? And a lot of that's coming in. I mean, it's hard. We're juggling. What are we going to give the kids for lunch? What are we going to give them for snacks? But how can we bring in real food so that they're actually empowered to have health, to have their focus, their attention, their memory as they're learning, their energy levels? So what are some things that you personally do?
I think for our house, we do a lot of shakes because
Uh-huh.
with the
Smoothies.
shakes, I can hide a lot of things. Or actually, I don't hide them for her anymore because she's 14. Yes. So she's not little, but you can for the little ones hide those things.
Yeah.
But she knows. And as long as it tastes good, um, she's bound to drink it. I know we were going to talk about aloe, but that's something that I use the powder in our
Right from
shakes, and
there.
it's berry flavor and it
Yes.
tastes really good.
Yes.
Especially when you're mixing it with other berries and other vegetables.
Yes.
I usually typically just stick to greens because I also think it's really important to incorporate seasonal produce
Yeah.
at this time. So we do eat a lot of squashes. We do eat a lot of apples. Apples are something that you can easily chop up and stick in a bag also. Um, and yeah, we just really focus on that. I try to keep it simple
Yeah. Yeah.
because my mind likes to complicate it.
I think that's important to know too, right? Like we often think snacks, like I'm going to send my kid to school with a couple of snacks, and then we're thinking like ultra processed stuff, right? When we can pack up, and this is not just for the kids, by the way, this is for us as adults too, and we're planning for our work and we're going out for the day or things like that. But even just basic vegetables, carrots, celery, string beans, snap peas, those little baby peppers. My kids love those things. But all of those things are things that you could pack as a snack in lieu of some of the other things that are
Mhm.
available at the grocery store, right? Or like you said, seasonal. What about apples or oranges? Those are, going to be those seasonal things
Mhm.
that come in, but let's talk about that too, because I think you hit on a very important thing. And I know as you and I were talking before, you said, it's almost like seasonal eating doesn't matter anymore because we always have access to these things at the grocery store. But we do want to eat in rhythm with our bodies, in rhythm with the season, in rhythm, with nature. And so that seasonal eating is important, So the in the colder weather, lots of greens, like it's great growing season for those greens. Like you said, the squashes, great season for those things, apples. So you want to start to look at, as the produce in the grocery store does change a little bit, right? All of a sudden, strawberries are like $10 for a little container. Well, that's the time to opt out of the strawberries and opt for something else that is in season. Because again, it's about going and being with that alignment with the season, with your body, with nature itself.
Mhm. Yeah, I always have a pot of that chai tea you actually taught me because
I love
I love chai tea and I really incorporate it in these months, even though I drink it all year round.
Yeah.
But now, since you've taught me with the pot, I just keep a pot on my stove all the time and it makes your house smell really delicious.
Oh yeah. So you guys, I love chai tea, and you guys also know that we're not a huge fan of caffeine and taking in a lot of caffeine. So a lot of the chai teas, like in the tea bags or things like that, they're coming along with caffeine. But I like to just do a pot at home. I'll fill up the pot with water, and then I add in just freshly sliced ginger, fresh cardamom, cloves, fresh cinnamon, and I just boil that. You can add star anise as well. I don't always have that on hand, whereas I have
Mhm.
all the other stuff on hand. You could add a little bit of vanilla if you want to add vanilla, and it's heavenly.
It
It's really,
really is. And then you
really
finish the
heavenly.
pot and I refill the pot and I put it back on and I just use
Yeah,
that for a few days and throw it out and start all over again.
yeah, you can. I mean, the spices, the stuff in there is so like it's so potent that you can finish the pot, refill it, and still have a
Mm-hmm.
nice strong cup of chai. It destroys things because I can't get chai anywhere else outside because I make mine so spicy at home. Like
Yeah.
the outside, it just doesn't taste the same. And a lot of times they use sugar and things like that in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys, that is a wonderful warming thing. And oh, so this is a good time to talk about. So I'm really excited. So Premier Research Labs just came out with ginger powder.
Oh, yes.
So that's a wonderful thing to add as a warming spice, especially as we're going into the fall and the winter, you guys, because that is it's got so ginger is just one of those, it's overall good for so many different things in our health. It's your anti-inflammatory. The ginger powder's got good fiber in it. It's good for those people who are looking to lose weight. A couple of grams of that ginger powder every day will help with that thermogenic effect for weight loss. So that's a new one that just came out. I think they just released it last week. So it's one that you certainly want to go ahead and get into your repertoire there. And I mean, you guys, these are what I call functional foods, right? Because it's not like you're just taking a supplement, but you're adding it. You can add it to your smoothie if you want to. You can add it. I don't know that I would add it to my chai because I like the way I boil my ginger root, but you could, if you didn't have ginger root available, you could use that to go ahead and work with your chai as well. But you can add it to your food, your smoothie. You can just take it, with something or sprinkle it on your vegetables or things like that. So it's a really good one. And the other thing that they've done, you guys, and those of you who don't have a Premier Research Labs account with us, I will go ahead and put the link in the chat box where you can access the account so that you are able to order these things for yourself. So I'll put that in there. I know most of our clients, they already have accounts. So that's fantastic. But for those of you who don't, I'll put it in there because, PRL is a practitioner exclusive brand. So you do need to have access through a specified provider. But the other one that's been recent, Carissa, I know you've been raving about this one, is all of the pink salt is my favorite thing. It is, we use it all the time at home, but also the Premier Pink Salt now, they've created what's called Premier Pink Salt Complete. And it's actually got other nutrients in it. So consider it like you're putting the pink salt on your food, but you're also getting a matrix of vitamins and nutrients, and they're all from real food. So there's nothing synthetic that's in there. So those of you who struggle with getting your kids to get enough in, or you worry if you're getting enough in, or so on and so forth, this is a really great way to add it in. It still has that awesome Premier Pink Salt taste, which is exciting.
Yes, the smell is a little strong, but it tastes delicious, just
Yeah.
like the regular pink salt. And I have both, but I tend to grab the complete, especially like you said, when I'm making something for my daughter.
Yeah, I mean, it's just great to throw in your food. And I know that there's a lot, like people have a lot of worry over salt, and there's a lot of debate and controversy. And I mean, here's where I stand on the salt issue, especially in clinical practice. We see people who eat really, really healthy. A lot of our clients eat pretty healthy. A lot of times we have clients who come in who eat pretty healthy. They're not eating processed food. They've got a diet with lots of fruits and vegetables. They're not getting in salts. And so we can become salt deficient. Salt is an important part of the makeup of our body and our body's electricity. Now, the white stuff, right? The stuff at the restaurant table, or, that was it Morton's or whatever in that container, like that's poison. Don't touch that. It's complete, absolute poison. But we're talking about real salt that, the pink salt comes from the Hawaiian Aloe. So it's got all of those beautiful natural trace elements in it. And that actually helps to mineralize and nourish the body. But it's really important, you guys. It's important for our adrenals. We've got several clients that, are currently active right now who are high performance athletes. They are doing Ironman and triathlons and special forces. And I'm always like, the pink salt, make sure you're getting that pink salt in, make sure you're getting that pink salt in. Because when we are deplete, then our adrenals take a hit. We all of a sudden we're fatigued, we have low energy, and that's a big deal, especially coming. We still have a little bit of summer left here, right? Some of those hot days still remaining, but especially when we're coming out of the summer where we're sweating a lot. I took the family over the rodeo yesterday, and I think it was like when we got in the car said 112 degrees. I think it's from sitting. I think it was certainly lower than that, but it had to be at least 100 degrees. And you're sweating, but you're losing those salts. So it's really important to get those in. So this is now another great product that is gonna really benefit our community, I believe. Yeah.
There's a couple other ones, right, that came out?
Yeah, there's a couple other ones. Some of them we've already been using, but in case any of you who are on here haven't heard, so the Premier Pink Salt Complete, that's really new. The ginger powder is like new, like Friday new, right hot off the press. But there are some other ones that we've been using. The creatine powder. So the creatine is, I put the creatine in my smoothie every day. And a lot of people think about just the creatine as workout, but the scientific literature shows it's really good for cognition. It's really good for your brain. So I do make the creatine a regular part of my daily regimen because I think it's so important. And of course, I've got, my sons are athletes, and so I make sure that they're getting that creatine in, not just for their athleticism and their muscles, but also for their brains. So the creatine is a new one, and creatine. I'm glad Premier came out with this because we obviously have tested with the kids. I've tested so many different brands, and they don't test well. It's like gunk, and more gunk. That's out there, unfortunately. So the quality is really important. And I would say too, the magnesium glycinate, that is a fairly new one. How many of you already, many of you already have the magnesium glycinate in your supplement protocols that we've designed for you. The magnesium glycinate, first of all, magnesium is one of these really, I want to say underused, but it's one of those minerals that we're not getting enough in our diet, and stress depletes our magnesium. Our food supply doesn't have what it's supposed to have in terms of the magnesium. And the magnesium is another one of those ones that, covers so many different bases, from our mood to our sleep to our memory. Our adrenals use the magnesium, our digestive system. So all of these different areas are impacted from the magnesium. So that's another one. I personally do, 3 cups of the magnesium glycinate a day. And then the other one, Carissa, that's really important, that's come out too, is the American Ginseng. And I'm so excited about that one. It's like, so those of you who use adaptogen, it is like a wonderful complement to with the adaptogen or the adrenoven. So people sometimes, I think they think of ginseng as like making you hyper or things like that, but that's not what the American Ginseng does. It's actually energizing, but it's calming, right? So it has a very different effect, I think, than what most people think. And it just kind of gives you back that gentle energy that's important for us to get through our day. So it gives us that stamina. So that is another one that's brand new. So that's like a handful. They're like on a mission this year, getting some of these really awesome new products out on the line. And you guys, I know your protocols, you've got protocols that are complete, but these are things that you can add into your protocol at any time and aren't going to, throw off your protocol and make it more wonky. Or if you're not on a protocol with us, these are, good additions to have on a regular daily basis. So those are the newbies for sure.
Yeah, I love the magnesium. I've used the powder too, but it's just nice to also have the capsule form.
Yes.
So I never go a day without that either.
Yeah, important. It's, magnesium is important for so many functions in our body. You guys, we are pretty much as a society walking around mineral deplete, and that's an issue. That's an issue.
Yeah.
And our body can't function the way that it was designed to.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, I feel like people don't recognize, because even when I talk to clients, they don't recognize just how important magnesium is. Most of the time they think, it's just for relaxation. But I mean, I do use it at night too, just to improve my quality of sleep. But I mean, like you had said before, improves your mood.
yeah.
It helps with bone health, cardiovascular health,
Yes.
which is something that I always keep an eye on too. So
Yeah.
I'm always using it every day. And I love the small little pills that it comes in.
Easy to swallow, because that's important for people too.
Yeah.
Good. All right. Well, that's the new stuff that's on the list. I'm glad to share that stuff with you guys today. But Carissa, let's dive in the last couple of minutes here. What other words of wisdom can we leave everybody with in terms of transition from summer into fall? I know one of the things is, summer, I find that sometimes people are out a lot, but then they also hold back in terms of going outside because the heat can be really intense.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the top things I think that's really important for people to do is, as we transition into the fall, I mean, spring and fall, we've got beautiful, like, outdoor friendly weather, is just get outside, as often as you can, especially before it gets really cold. I think that's one of the things I want to make sure that I leave all of you guys with. How about you, Carissa?
Yeah, same. I was thinking about the vitamin D factor also, but just to reiterate, to remind you to stay attuned to your body's needs during the seasonal shift, just how we talked about, sometimes it's not always feasible to be up till 10, 11 o'clock at night because the sun is now setting at 5:30.
Yes.
So just attuning to the needs that your body wants, making sure you're staying hydrated like we should all year round, and just sticking to the seasonal vegetables and, upping your protocol just to make sure that, you're in good health.
Yeah. One of the other things that I want to mention is, as the days get shorter, just you're speaking about this, kind of triggered the alarm in my brain. As the days get shorter, I mean, be really on target about your use of electronic devices and the blue lights coming off the screens. Get your blue light glasses on, and make sure that you're using them, especially in the evening time. Make sure that you've got the protectors and stuff on your phones. Uh-oh, my phone is on here. Make sure you got the protectors and such on your phones, so that your computer, so that you've got some protection already embedded in your devices. And make sure that you're looking at that first morning sun, or get out there and look towards the sun at sunset time, just to keep those things activated. Maybe even get some full spectrum lighting for your home if you're dealing with things like seasonal affective disorder. So all things to just pay attention to help you smooth that transition.
That's a really good one, because I'm actually looking into changing all my light bulbs this year.
Yeah. Awesome. Good. Yeah. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us at Lunch and Learn Live. So we do Lunch and Learn Live every Monday at 12:30. You can find us on the South Bay Wellness Facebook group. We stream directly to there, as well as our YouTube. So you can chip in. You can bring us your questions. We're happy to hear all questions, get those questions answered for you. And each week we address a different kind of topic. For those of you who are interested in the Premier Research Labs products, we stuck a link into the comments for you, so you can go ahead and use those as well. And we got a lot of new great stuff coming up on the horizon. Just a heads up, we have an awesome group program that is starting in October. So for all of you who have wanted to jump into a program with us, but just weren't able to do that, or not able to do the one-on-one, this group program is going to rock your world, rock your health, and take it all to the next level. So stay tuned for more information about that as well. Look at your mailing list. If you're not on our mailing list, then go ahead and send us a message. We'll make sure we get you onto our mailing list. All right, everyone. Have a wonderful week. We'll see you. Oh, next week is Memorial Day, Labor Day. Next week is
Yes.
Labor Day. So we're good. We can move till Tuesday, right? Next week?
Yeah, we can move to Tuesday, and next week we'll be talking, we'll kind of like piggyback off of this and talk about boosting your immunity.
Yes.
So, just how the immune system works and what we can do with the impact of seasonal changes. So, kind of like what we talked about today, like a starting point. We'll go more in depth with it next week.
Beautiful. So you guys look out in the Facebook group. We'll post the makeup time and date for next week. It'll be in the Facebook group. Okay. All right, everyone. We'll talk to you soon.